So I've not hidden it on my channel that The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang is one of my favorite books ever. And let me just tell you that I read The Poppy War the year it was released, and I had to wait a full year for Dragon Republic to come out. And now I have been waiting for, another year for The Burning Girl to come out. So if there's anybody versed in tips on exactly how to make waiting for anticipated sequel work for you, it is me. And so I decided to film this video sharing the 12 ways to survive the countdown to the release of an anticipated sequel. You're welcome. The first thing to do is make a countdown, like an actual countdown. It can be digitally, it can be just you tearing off the calendars leading to that day. There is something satisfying about looking at the way the months, then the weeks, then the days, then the hours, then the minutes, then the seconds slowly creep and bring you closer and closer to the day you've been dreaming of since the day you were born. Not physically born, of course, but the day in which your life found meaning and you discovered this series and realized that it was a series, which means you have to wait for the next book in the series for you to be able to finish the series. Can I stop saying series? I have no idea, but I'm going to try. So yeah, make an actual countdown. Trust me, there's just a feeling of satisfaction that comes with watching the time come closer to you. Like, come closer, my pretty, come closer. This is me trying to pull the burning God to me as close as possible. Is it working? Is it working? Are we in November yet? Is it working? If creating a countdown is still not, helping with easing the pangs of wanting the books in your hands ASAP, consider rereading all the books that came before it. Trust me, it works. One, it makes your brain ready and refreshed. You remember all the little details, these details that will come as close as possible, that would connect in such an intricate way to the story, that will make reading the sequel very fulfilling for you. So trust me, reread the books. As someone that has reread The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic multiple times, I can tell you that rereading the series has its own special brand of satisfaction. Sure, it further drives the point home, and then you feel like there's a sword going in through your chest and you're dying because anticipation, I need that book in my hands. But for a short while, for a little moment, you can deceive yourself that, oh my God, that's the next book. It's bonus point if it is that the book you're anticipating is the third book in the series, or the fourth book in the series, or the fifth book in the series. Because see, when you finish the first book, there's already another book waiting for you to just pick up and reread, and your mind is just blown because all the little things, all the little moments you had missed when you were reading the first book, right? Now that you're rereading the second book, you're like, oh my God, that is foreshadowing, that ties up. Like, rereading a series can be fulfilling, especially if you drag out the reading process, right? So if I drag out The Poppy War and I drag out reading The Dragon Republic, both books, when I read both books, I finished both of them in a day. Like the year I read Poppy War, I binged it in a day. The year I read Dragon Republic, I binged it in a day. Actually, technically, I reread The Poppy War the day before I started Dragon Republic. So I did that reread, and then I read Dragon Republic, and I still did all of that in like 2 days. So there is that. But if you're reading the series, the previous books in the series is not working for you, you can consider what I did when I was anticipating the release of Dark Dawn, by J. Christoph. I created theories. I did film a video about theories, but I created theories of all the things all the connections, everything that could happen, what it is that I thought the character's end goal was. Could I possibly guess the kind of ending that the author was going to give us? Like, I had theories, people. I filled a notebook filled with theories. That, one, it keeps your brain sharp. Two, it mitigates the expectation just a little bit, because you're like, yo, what if the author does this? And then that follows that thread, and then you think, but what if he does this instead? Or what if she does this? Or what if they do this? Like, you just keep following all the threads, every single word that the author might. Like, theories work for a reason. One, they provide you with comfort in these trying times. And two, they just show you just how crazy like how out of this world your thought patterns can be when you just let them go wild. And as somebody who, after I'd finished doing my theory video for Dark Dawn, then read the book, then realized that 70% of my predictions came through, there's a feeling of satisfaction when you're like, called it, and yet, you still expect the writer to still blow your mind away because you're like, I know this is the end game, but take me there, please, writer. So write down your theories. But whilst you are doing so, it's important for you to take the fourth step I'm suggesting, which is print out a life-size image of the author, right? Pin it somewhere prominently in your house, preferably in your bedroom. So you stare at it as you're about to go to bed, and it's the first thing you see in the morning. Why? Because you need that picture in front of your face when you're praying. When you're praying to all the book gods, because you need to pray. Pray that the publishers do not decide to move the release date. Because there is nothing as painful as anticipating something and having the publishers be like, yo, we know you were looking forward to, the story concluding this year and you had been waiting for like a year and a half, but I'm sorry, we're going to have to move it by like another year. Imagine the heartbreak. That was technically how I felt when I heard that Children of Virtue and Vengeance had been moved. And so imagine how great my disappointment was when that book turned out the way it did, considering the fact that I was weeping tears that could fill the Dead Sea because I was dead inside, right? So just consider it. Print a picture, life size. Pray to it. It's important to. I intend to do so, especially because we need to be careful. We need to be careful. We do not want another Wings of Winter situation, people. You do not want it. Trust me. Print out that picture and pray hard to any God that might be listening. You need to pray. Then when you're done, like with your, morning and evening salutations and begging to the almighty author not to agree to a shifting date, you move on to your next coping mechanism, character interviews. They work. They help you understand the character better. They help you get into the character's head. It also works well to help you come up with theories. Like, you need to get into the character's head. So plan out extravagant interviews. Make it an interview every other day. Pretend that you work in a newspaper company, right? And you have to get all the deets on this character. So do all your digging. This is important. When you're doing your rereads, have a paper and pen in hand for you to be taking down character interview questions, and then you write out detailed answers. Detailed, well-fleshed out answers, because we want to understand the characters on an even deeper level. Like, for example, what makes Fangunin tick? What drives her? What motivates her beyond this desire to be seen and accepted due to the fact that, all her childhood, she's had to deal with the pain of never being wanted, of always being rejected, of always being treated as lesser than. And so that is what drives her to get that acceptance, and the reason why she constantly keeps pushing and she's always being used, because she's so thirsty and so desperate for that desire to be seen, to be loved, to be accepted. What drives her beyond that? You need to be able to drill down to this character. So character interviews. If you plot one every other day and you do it for all the main characters, all the secondary characters, even the characters that get barely honorable mentions, by the time you've gone through a book series that has like 200 characters and you're interviewing them one every other day, trust me, by the time you're done and all caught up with, that book would have come out. The sequel will be out and you'll be like, thank you so much, Noria. Your ideas and your suggestions were a lifesaver. And once again, I would say you're welcome. Then you need to create, right? After you're done with the character interview, if there's still time and you're still staring at the release date and being like, yo, Noria, I've tried everything and this book is not coming out for another 3 months. Create a character playlist for all your favorite villains in the series. They can be the big villains. They can be the little villains. Like, there is the creepy ass doctor in the Poppy War. Like, I can just imagine all the heavy metal sounds I would use for him, as well as just a little bit of opera, because he's just a little bit insane, but at the same time, I'm certain he thinks he's creating magic, and he's just slightly, Creepy. Conveying all of that in a playlist and being like, yo, I have put together 30 songs that define exactly who the Empress Sudaji is. Like, these are things you need to consider. These are things you need to create, especially if, like me, you're pissed at the ending of a book like I was at the end of Dragon Republic because a great betrayal happened. Now I am in Rin's head and I'm like, yo, if she's creating a playlist for this character that betrayed her, I'm saying this character because I don't want to spoil it just in case you've not read Dragon Republic, but she's creating a playlist for this character that betrayed her. Exactly what will she create? You know, all that rage and all that pain and all that desire to destroy, to burn, to ashes. Like, obviously, some really heavy rock sounds, lots of rage, lots of, like, you need to be able to feel the fire, literal and figurative, that she's feeling. So, playlist that best capture the essence of the villains you hate. Because think about it, you already hate them, so you're not willing to create content for them. So you're probably going to take a couple of days and be like, I cannot believe Noria is making me do this. What the fuck? Why the hell would I create this villain playlist? I hate this villain. I hate this character. But after 2-3 days where you're like back and forth, and then you realize that Noria is right and this book is not coming any closer and I need some closure. I need a way to deal with the pain. Then, my pretties, you will create the playlist, and every single moment you spend on that playlist will be you, fingers in your hair, trying to pull it out, being like, I don't want to understand this character. Creating this playlist is making me even more pissed. Use that energy, use that drive to create all those songs and to bid your time for the sequel where all these villains will get their comeuppance. Hopefully in a way that satisfies you, because I do know that some authors also disappoint us in that, and I'm sorry, at that point there's nothing I can do. If you want a whole other video about, you know, ways in which to deal with the author destroying all your hopes and dreams and totally and completely tarnishing everything you want and destroying a fandom that has been a part of your life ever since you were a kid and ruining characters that you've always loved, especially when you realize, oh my god, there has been so many things hidden in the pages of this book and I've just been blind because I've been caught up in nostalgia. If you need help with a video that deals with that, drop down in the comments down below. I am willing to create said video. Just putting it out there. After you're done with the character playlist, now you need to start thinking about the book when it comes out. Go through your list of friends. Pick the person you want to body read the book with you when it's released. Like, for example, when Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Silver Flame, I cannot believe she dropped the and. Like, why would she drop the and? The and is iconic. It's meant to be a court of silver and flame. Anyway, I digress. For example, I already have a friend that I know I'm going to be body reading that book with. It took a long process for me to get to that point because we both had to read all the series and realize that we're equally trash for Sarah J. Maas. And this is something you need to realize as well. You need a friend there, a friend that will hold your hand, that will be in your thought, that will be like, I'm giving you all the support. I believe in you. You can do this. We can do this. And will hold your hand through the entire reading process. You need a friend like that. Now, imagine if your friend has not yet read the series yet. This is a great chance, a great opportunity for you to spend the next couple of weeks or months convincing them to try the books, you know. And then when you read the first book, then you convince them to read the second book. Or if it is that it's only one book that is out, you convince them to read the first book, right? And then you do a lot of back and forth so that they are invested, so that by the time the sequel is released, you have somebody in your corner, someone who understands you, someone you can vent with and squeal with and have a screaming party with. And when I tell you that do not take this process lightly. You have to have the right people to body read each book. Like, when it's a Sarah J. Maas book, I know exactly who I'm body reading it with, right? My copy of Empire of Gold is still on its way because your girl is extra and I need them to match, and I have the UK covers of City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper, so Empire of Gold has to match these covers, but I already know the group of friends I am body reading Empire of Gold with, and my friends are OG because they are all waiting for me to get it so that we can all start it, because I'm the only one whose copy still hasn't arrived yet. Let me just use this moment to say, I thank you, Sarah. I thank you, Lauren. I thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for being patient with me. So, like, each book in the series, I know who I am going to be body reading with. And I'm already working on who I'm going to be body reading The Burning God with, because that book is going to wreck me, and I need somebody that would be like as obsessed with me, that would probably fake being ill at work so that they can stay all day and read this book, because I would need to constantly scream at things. I know that book is going to make me scream. So when I say it takes a lot of work for you to craft, the relationship, and for both of you to set a game plan, there needs to be a game plan set with regards how the reading of the sequel would be the minute it is released. That is why you need to work on that now, before the sequel is released. Trust me. And yes, you will thank me later. Next, look at all the pretty fan art that has been created for the series. Like, there are so many fan artists out there who are doing God's work, who are putting faces and colors to these characters that are beloved by all of us. It's important for us to have enough time to adequately appreciate their work. So look at all the fan art, which is the perfect segue to tip number 9, which is read fan fiction. Fan fiction has been saving my sanity since 2007. So yes, fan fiction has been saving my sanity for 13 years. And I am absolutely and completely grateful to the entities, the bodies, the people that have been creating fan fiction. I wonder who was the first person to ever write a fanfic. I think I saw a tweet that was like the first fan fiction was probably about Sherlock Holmes. That was funny. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I just got lost in my thoughts. Anyway, read fan fiction. They would, one, help you fuel your theories about what the sequel would be like, and two, would be a perfect cushion for you to already have established fanfic writers in these books, right, in these worlds that you like, so that just in case, I'm not saying this would happen, but just in case the writer ends up disappointing you, it is important for you to know that there is a fanfic writer who would fix what has been destroyed and what has been broken and make it better. Like, it is important. Just consider it. Fanfiction writers doing God's work. Technically, I write fanfic. I've not written them in years, but I think I'm also kind of doing God's work. Next tip, have your friend look through all the books you own, whether physically, on Kindle, audiobooks, etc. Have them look through the books you own and let them choose a completed series that you have not yet read, but that they know you would love. Maybe it's a book, maybe it's a series that they themselves have read and they enjoyed, or maybe it's a series that they've heard a lot of, and what they've heard about this series are things that you look forward in books. So have them go through the books and your shelves to help you pick a series that is complete, that has ended, finito. It has gotten to its end. Let them help you pick it so that you can read it and at least lose yourself in that world for a short period of time. And then the penultimate tip, offer your firstborn's middle name, right, as an offering to the gods so you can get your hands on an ark. As somebody who realized that somewhere out in the world right now, there are people currently holding R.F. Kuang's The Burning Gods in their hands or in their Kindles, whatever, and they are reading those words and they are seeing those characters and they understand how this story is going to end. My heart breaks, my spleen cries, my soul weeps, my spirit shrivels, everything the world loses part of its color and its flavor, because obviously I was not offering the gods enough. I really want my hands on that ark. So if you can offer the middle name or the first name even of your firstborn, offer it to get your hands on an ark. And if all else fails, final tip, you can sit and wait for the sequel like the rest of us plebeians. And yeah, that is the video. 12 tips to help you count down to the release of a highly anticipated sequel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed it, please share it. It helps other people discover my channel and discover my content, because a lot of you have discovered my channel and my content recently because you saw a video or you saw someone share stuff and you're like, yo, that girl is entertaining, that girl is funny, that girl's cat showed up on screen. I'm sorry, the cat did not show up. It's currently right there. I might just if you stayed this long, I might just give you a tiny little pic of him enjoying the rain, because it's currently raining. It's been raining since midnight in Lagos, and we're currently at 3 p.m. and it is still raining. So yes, it has been raining for about 15 hours. Everything is soaked. Everything is waterlogged, but my cat, my kitty, absolutely adores it. So I might just turn around this camera so you can get a quick little glimpse, you know, for waiting this long. It's your tiny little tip. But share this video, you know, comment, let me know your thoughts, let me know if you agree, let me know what are some of the things you've done as you've counted down to your favorite anticipated sequel. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, check out my other videos. If you like my content, please hit subscribe and please click on that notification bell so you can know the minute I have a new video go up, because if not, YouTube is not going to inform you the minute I have a new video go up. But whatever the case may be, I make new videos every Wednesdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. EST. You heard that right, that's 2 p.m. EST, and I will see you soon. Until then, let me just give you a quick little glance, tiny little glance at Compop. Compop. Hey, baby. Stare at the camera. Look at him. He's like, yo, bitch, Compop, are you seriously going to ignore me? Really? Really? You're showing us you're behind. Huh? As you can see, he's still slightly pissed at the fact that I put in through all that work to help me choose my July TBR. Like, my kitty can be very, very... yeah, it's all like, I'm gonna get you, bitch. But yeah, that is your tiny little, you know, tiny little reward for staying to the end of my video. Until next time, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.